Yeah, c'est l'original tribunal aux côtés de Volphonique. Oh 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 oh, ce n'est pas l'argent qui fait tourner la terre. Le love prend le dessus sur le budgétaire. Ce n'est pas l'argent qui fait tourner le monde, mais des pensées positives et profondes. Oh oh, ce n'est pas l'argent qui fait tourner la terre. Le love prend le dessus sur le budgétaire. Ce n'est pas l'argent qui fait tourner le monde, mais des pensées positives et profondes. Certains vivent dans la richesse mais ne sont jamais contents. Ils sombrent dans la détresse et se retrouvent sur un divan. Pour s'avouer que vivre comme un prince ou une princesse peut tout de même laisser leur morale dans un état de sécheresse. C'est terrible de penser que love et monnaie sont compatibles. La pauvreté laisse certains impassibles, pendant que d'autres restent incorruptibles. C'est indescriptible, le pouvoir du love, tout est possible dans le capitalisme, sauf si ton compte est risible. Alors tu deviens invisible, submersible aux yeux de ceux qui te pensaient infaillible. La loi de la monnaie est insensible. Ce n'est pas l'argent qui fait tourner la tête.
I just wanted to make a video for people who are surrounded by people who might like to make other people feel inadequate or inferior due to their own insecurities. And if you haven't already noticed, you know, that people who really are very, very good, like myself, I used to be very, very good at pretending to be somebody else, and I was a really convincing candidate for what I'm about to describe here. You know, people who are very material wealth sort of orientated and chasing the dream. You know, I just want to mention as well that not everybody's dream is the same dream. So you can be as boastful as you like about your successes in achieving this, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, but not everybody wants the same things out of life, you know? Some people value love and companionship and, you know, swimming and whatever, having fun, I mean. Some people value those things more than they value material wealth. So yeah. So if you're, yeah, again, you know, like there's probably been many a dinner party or evening or whatever where you're surrounded by people who might be quite boastful or whatever the case is, but you just have to remember that those people are often the most insecure people. So you just have to be sensitive and sympathetic towards them, even though it might be frustrating. Redefining what we truly believe is value and is valuable in this world, you know? So if you can just like ignore these people, be sympathetic towards them, you know, maybe even love them more. If you can find it in yourself to love them more, you know, insecure people who are trying to make themselves feel better about their own insecurities by putting other people down. If you can do that, then like I'd take my, if I was wearing a hat, I would take my hat off to you. You know, I try my best, but I'm only human, just like you, just like everybody. So the point of this video is just to, sometimes it takes this, you know, somebody to point out the simplest thing for you to remember. It's the simplest thing, but everybody's shit stinks, you know. So, and I'm sure you know that, but like, sometimes we just get wound up and caught up in it all, you know. And I was really caught up in it all at one point in my life. Now I try and ignore it. So it's like maybe it's like stages, you know. At one point I was it, and I was very good at pretending to be this person that I wasn't. I was very good at fitting in the Iron Maiden, so severing off all the parts of me that were imperfect and didn't fit into this Iron Maiden of make-believe, you know. So the Iron Maiden's a myth, you know. It's a wild goose chase, this whole wealth and status and image and whatever, this whole class system which has been forced upon us for the point of ruling us as a people. So it's just all fake, really. Just don't chase the goose, because it doesn't exist, basically. And there are lots of people who are advocates of the goose, this golden goose that we're all chasing. So I'm talking about money and status and wealth, of course. And, you know, having perfect friends who all are clones of yourself. You know, fuck that. You know, nobody's a clone. You can be the best at pretending to be a clone. You could be the head clone. You could be the queen clone or the king clone, but you're still a clone. And I'm sorry, but you're still a fucking clone, man. And sooner or later, it might be all calm on the surface, but underneath it's burning, and underneath it's destroying itself. So like a house that's ablaze inside, or that is ablaze in the basement, that house is going to come crashing down one day, and you're going to have to rebuild yourself from scratch. So screw the make-believe and get in touch with who you really are, because the best people in this world are people who are good at being themselves. Because there's nobody better in this world at being you than you, and we need more people like you to be you. We need more authentic human beings in this world, we really do. So, and you know, I'm not saying I'm there yet, because it's a learning curve, just like being alive is just a journey of learning and exploration and all of the good stuff, you know. It's just what's beautiful about being human, that we are not perfect. And, you know, that's another thing, like, it just reminds me of, you know, if somebody else imposes their idea of perfection on us, it's just like, you know, it's got that faint whiff of fascism, doesn't it, really? Because then those people who are great at being the clones and great at being perfect and really have all the clothes, have their hair a certain way, look a certain way, you know, have certain friends who are all clones of themselves, live in a clone house, have a clone car, have a clone sofa, all the carpets are the clone carpets, the latest clone carpets, everybody's got the same shit. That strikes me as being like artificial and unnatural, you know, as we are all naturally unique and individual. You know, just be yourself, basically. If you're not being yourself, or if you're in a situation where you're not being yourself, just try and get out of that situation, or try and, you know, put that fire out within yourself. Try and look within yourself to try and eradicate those insecurities or those issues, you know, because it's just, I think the first thing and the most important thing you can do in terms of eradicating your own insecurities within yourself is to realise that you're living in a world of artificial and superficial desires, and in a world where wealth is defined by material things and not by, you know, things that are actually wealthy, like nature, wildlife, clean water, love, intelligence, music, art, you know, friendship, all of the things which make life good and cool, you know, cool people, you know. If you need something to supplement your insecurities, you're in trouble, and you need to start, you know, you need to just start looking within yourself and trying to, you know what I mean? If you need to supplement that's what insecure people do. Insecure people need to supplement their insecurities with a bigger house, a bigger car. You'll never be satisfied because it comes from within. If you're chasing all of these things that are material things, you'll never be satisfied, because what you're really after, that wholeness and that feeling of, you know, that you have a right as, you know, a human right, a birthright to be on the planet just as a human being, and to be loved and to love and to laugh and to live. You know, God, I just got really cheesy there. But you have a right, you know, to be on the planet, God-given right, a birthright. And when I say God, I'm not talking about a bearded dude up in the sky. I'm talking about the infinite power that is the universe, that we all belong to, that we all have within ourselves as well. You know, I think that God lives within every living thing, so, and just is infinite. You know, if God's infinite, then God exists within me too, because I'm occupying space and time. So, and same to you, if God is infinite, then God exists within you because you're occupying space and time. Unless you're some sort of other branch of existence that I'm not aware of. But anyway, the possibilities are endless. And yeah, just love yourself. And just fuck that whole illusion, man. If someone's very good at being a clone, congratulations. You're very, very good at being a clone. You've got the right hair, you've got the latest clothes, you've got the latest shoes, you speak in a certain way, you have certain friends, you drive a certain car, you listen to certain music, and you're very, very good at being a clone of whatever it is you're trying to be a clone of. And it's very, you know, I'm not blaming those people per se, because the media is very, very persuasive. And I was a victim, I fell victim of the same illusion. I thought that I, you know, would accomplish everything that I truly wanted to accomplish. I would be loved, I would be successful, I would be rich, you know, I'd have all the things that I desired, as opposed that I desired back then. But now I know that what I really want is not, you know, a little suburban suburban, like, bullshit life. I don't want a bullshit life. I don't want to, it's a headache for me. It's a headache to hang around insecure people. You know, I just want to feel free, like everybody does. Well, like most people do, you know? Peace and freedom and food and education and healthcare and all of these things that are of value to us as a society. We live as social creatures. We live like ants in a colony, you know, except we are running around not doing much. If you looked at us from space as a human race, aliens would be like, what the hell are they all running around for? They're not building anything. They're not doing anything useful for their own existence. They're basically just destroying the planet. But anyway, there's a lot of good people out there, and you're one of them, probably. Maybe, I don't know that for sure. But anyway, just, it's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday. Anyway, that's enough of that. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you. You know, just sympathise with them. Sympathise with people who are very insecure. And if you can't sympathise with them, they're really, really getting at you, just remember that they're just very, very good at being a clone, you know? And screw that. But they're not the best. They're only... Anyway, peace out.